Britain's right-wing Reform UK party pledged last Wednesday to bring down the toxic Tories, saying it would do no deals with the governing Conservatives, who fear that Reform UK could draw votes from some of their traditional supporters. With a general election expected this year, the Conservatives and opposition Labour Party have all but kicked off their campaigns, but both face challenges from smaller parties, such as Reform UK and, of course, the centrist Liberal Democrats. Some Conservatives have hoped that Reform UK would make a similar deal as it did under its former guise as the Brexit Party, when at the 2019 election it did not field any candidates in hundreds of Conservative voting areas so as not to split the vote. Instead, Richard Tice, leader of Reform UK, which includes better-known Brexit campaigner Nigel Farage as its honorary president, ruled out such deals. He nudged those Conservative lawmakers who are critical of Prime Minister Rishi Sunak's attempts to tackle illegal migration to defect to his party. I can be absolutely categoric that we are not doing any deals with the Tories. We will stand everywhere in England, Scotland, Wales. That's what Tice told a news conference. Though Reform UK could eat into some of the Conservative voting base, it is unlikely to win any seats in Parliament due to Britain's first-past-the-post electoral system. Tice was asked about the comments of one Conservative lawmaker who said Reform posed a bigger risk to the party than Labour, which commands a hefty lead in the opinion polls. The honest truth is there are quite a number of Tory MPs in a similar position, he said. Stop staying with the toxic Tories, stop defending the indefensible, be brave, be bold, come on over, we want quality, Tice said. He again said Farage, a figurehead for Britain's 2016 vote to exit the European Union, might become a more active presence in Reform UK after starring in a reality TV show, but that for him, as a good poker player, he was waiting for the right time. With tough calls for restricting immigration and scrapping Britain's net zero goals, Reform UK is expected to attract some traditional Conservative voters, possibly depriving the party of victory in some of its more loyal constituencies. Reform UK, formerly known as the Brexit Party, could pose a significant challenge to the Conservative Party in this upcoming general election. The party's focus on the libertarian issues and its criticism of the government's handling of the cost of living crisis could resonate with some voters, particularly those who are disillusioned with the Conservatives. Additionally, Reform UK's commitment to standing in every constituency in England, Scotland and Wales could split the vote on the right, potentially costing the Conservatives seats. Recent polls have suggested that Reform UK could attract between 5% and 10% of the vote, potentially splitting the vote on the right and allowing Labour to gain seats in traditionally Conservative-held constituencies. For instance, an Ipsos Mori poll conducted in December 2023 found that Reform UK could take up to 6% of the vote, potentially costing the Conservatives 12 seats. And as I said, Reform UK's focus on libertarian issues and the criticism of the government's handling of the cost of living crisis could appeal to those who are disillusioned with the Conservatives. And the party's message of lower taxes, deregulation and individual freedom could resonate with voters who feel that the government is not doing enough to address their concerns. Reform UK's decision to stand in every constituency could really split the vote on the right, potentially costing the Conservatives quite a lot of seats. And this is particularly concerning for the Tories in seats where the Conservative vote is already relatively narrow. For instance, a small swing to Reform UK could allow Labour to win seats such as Batley and Spen and Bishop Auckland. And while Reform UK's overall support remains relatively small, the party's potential to split the vote on the right and its focus on the issue that resonate with some Conservative voters make it a significant challenge for the Conservatives in the upcoming general election. The party's impact will depend on factors such as its ability to attract voters and the overall political climate, but it is a force that the Conservatives cannot ignore. Reform UK, formerly known as the Brexit Party, is a right-wing populist political party in the United Kingdom. It was founded in November 2018 by Nigel Farage, a prominent figure in the campaign to leave the European Union. The party's core policy was to achieve a clean break from the European Union, also known as a no-deal Brexit. And the Brexit Party was formed in the wake of the 2016 referendum on the UK's membership of the European Union. The referendum resulted in a narrow victory for the Leave campaign, but the process of negotiating the UK's withdrawal from the EU proved to be highly divisive. The Conservative Party, which had campaigned for Remain, found itself divided on the issue, and its leader, Theresa May, at the time faced significant challenges in securing a withdrawal agreement that could pass through Parliament. In this context, Farage and his allies saw an opportunity to create a new political force that could appeal to those who were frustrated with the Conservative Party's handling of Brexit. And the Brexit Party's platform was simple: to leave the European Union without any deal. And this message resonated with many voters, and the party quickly gained popularity. In the 2019 European Parliament elections, the Brexit Party won a landslide victory, capturing 31.6% of the vote and 29 of the UK's 73 seats in the European Parliament. And this result sent a shockwave through the UK political establishment, and it forced Prime Minister May to resign in the end. Following the European Parliament elections, the Brexit Party faced a series of challenges. The UK's withdrawal from the European Union was formally completed in January 2020, and the party's core policy objective was achieved almost. Additionally, the Conservative Party under Boris Johnson committed to a hard Brexit, making the Brexit Party's position less unique, so to speak. In January 2021, the Brexit Party rebranded itself as Reform UK. The party stated that it was now focusing on a broader range of issues, including tax cuts, deregulation, and electoral reform. Nigel Farage stepped down as leader of the party, and he was replaced by Richard Tice. Under Tice's leadership, Reform UK has continued to advocate for a free market libertarian agenda. The party has also been critical of the government's handling of the COVID-19 pandemic and its response to the cost of living crisis. Reform UK remains a small party with limited electoral success. The party has not won any seats in the House of Commons, and its performance in recent local elections has been disappointing. However, the party continues to attract media attention and to influence public debate. Reform UK's future prospects are uncertain, and the party's core policy of opposition to the European Union is no longer relevant, and it has struggled to carve out a clear niche in the UK political landscape. However, the party's focus on libertarian issues could resonate with some voters, and it might be able to capitalize on any dissatisfaction with the government now. And that means that Reform UK is indeed still a big threat to the Tories, not because they will any seats, but because they can cost the Tories their seats. And as I said, Nigel Farage is Reform UK's honorary president. And this means that he's not a member of the party's executive committee, but he still plays a role in advising the party and representing it on the media. He is a controversial figure, but he's also a highly effective campaigner and, yes, you can say a master of media manipulation. Farage's role in Reform UK is likely to be crucial in the party's efforts to attract voters in the upcoming general election. He is a popular figure among some sections of the electorate, and his presence on the campaign trail could help to boost the party's profile. However, his controversial views could also alienate some voters, and it is possible that his involvement in the party could ultimately harm its chances of success. Overall, Nigel Farage's role in Reform UK is complex and unpredictable. He is a powerful figure who could have a significant impact on the party's fortunes, but he's also a divisive figure who could alienate some voters. And his involvement in the party will be a major talking point in the upcoming general elections, and it will be interesting to see how he plays his role in the campaign. And if you want to know more about Brexit or UK politics, the next video is right here on the end screen. I'll see you there. I'll be back.